What's your battle? What battle are you facing? You know, it seems like every day there's a different battle. That battle could be where you are fighting for your job, or you're fighting for your marriage. Could be as parents, you're fighting for your kids, or even spiritually, there's always a battle, it seems like, in our walks with Jesus. And so I want to frame it this way to think real quick of what battle are you fighting? And if you're sitting there and you're like, Jason, I ain't fighting no battle. Everything's great, man. All's good. My bills are paid. I can't complain. And that's great. But you got to know, like, we live in a sinful, broken world, and frankly, there's always a battle going on. It's just whether or not we're choosing to engage in that battle and fight in that battle. All throughout Scripture, there's parallels between life here on earth and fighting a battle, especially Ephesians 6 with the armor of God and all of that. And so at the end of the day, what battle are you fighting right now in your life? And what tools are you fighting with? As we engage in this Journey Through Psalms series, I love how Chuck put it last week, that Psalms is a book we go to and not go through, that you can kind of popcorn all over the place. And one of the authors in Psalms, King David, was just an incredible man, certainly a man after God's own heart, a man of great failure and a man of great redemption, but he's also a warrior. And so the theme of some of Psalms is that of fighting a battle and that of war. And that's where we're going to find ourselves today. In Psalm 144 is one of my personal favorites, and one that I go to quite a bit. I'm not going to read it all, but I want to break it down like this. In Psalm 144, David writes, "Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle." Who trains my fingers for battle. I want you to hold on to that because that's weird, but let's hold on to that. "He is my steadfast love, my fortress, my stronghold, my deliverer, my shield, in whom I take refuge." Man, he is my place of I take refuge. I love that picture of a fortress. It goes on from like verse 5 to 8 that talks about his role in the battle. Flash forth lightning, touch the mountain and they will smoke. It reminds us just how big and how awesome our God is. A couple of weeks ago, my family and I rode out our 9th hurricane. And every time one of them things come through, it just reminds me how big and powerful God is. And then it goes on from verse 9 to 11 of our role, that I will sing to God a new song, that I will worship, I will praise, I will give victory to him. And then on in 12 through 15 is just the end result, that may our lives be blessed. May our sons be fully grown, our daughters corner pillars. May our sheep bring forth thousands and our cattle be heavy with young. Blessed are the people to whom such blessings fall. Blessed are the people whom God is their Lord. So I want to invite you to go to read Psalm 144. But what I want to drill down into is it says in verse 1, "He trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle." Now, half that verse makes sense. He trains my hands for war. Like, that makes sense to me. You think through hand-to-hand combat, or swords, or, that makes sense, right? We need to be trained for war. What doesn't make sense is my fingers for battle. Like, what are they playing, paper, rock, scissors on the battleground? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Am I going to poke you in the eye? Like, you don't use your fingers for battle, except in the context of the kingdom. You see, down later on in verse 9, it says, "I will sing to you a new song, O God. Upon a 10-stringed harp I will play to you." What David's setting up is we got to worship through the war. You got to worship through the war. How we fight our battles is through worship of Jesus, through keeping our eyes focused on the Lord. It's not through our strength. It's not through our abilities. Now, sure, God will use those, but it's through his strength. It's through his power. And so I believe today that, I was reminded when I shared that reminder with you, that whatever battle you're facing, worship through the war. That if you're fighting for your kids and your kids are wayward and going crazy right now, worship through the war. Keep your eyes focused on Jesus. If you're struggling in your marriage today, worship through the war. Take your wife, take your husband by the hand, and get your eyes on Jesus. That no matter what you're facing today, I want to remind you that He is our deliverer. He is our stronghold. He will train you for whatever battle you may face. And so whatever that looks like for you today in your life, I want to invite you, take a deep breath, and I want you to read through Psalm 144. And I want you to read it in a way that David is speaking to you. Anyway, y'all, I hope you have a great Wednesday. We'll see you back next week.